Okay, as the year very quickly winds down, I wanted to do a special episode of Financially Fierce today to talk about the life wins and goals that you have achieved over the course of 2025 that no doubt included some twists and turns and windy paths, but I think it is really important as we close out the year and before we get to that shiny brand new year that we actually pause and we reflect amidst the wild and craziness that is sort of the festive season to be proud of where we are at right now, to be proud that we're still here and we've survived the journey that was 2025. But I also asked a whole bunch of you for your wins of 2025. And so I wanted to use this time today to share them, to inspire you, to congratulate you, to make you proud of where you're at on this fierce journey that is called life. And so that, my friends, is what we are diving deep into today.
This is a podcast for everyone that wants to learn how to make fierce and bold choices with their money. We'll talk about how to shape your money mindset, investing for your future, your spending habits, the good and the bad, plus how to achieve your financial goals, and most of all, how to be financially fierce. I'm a financial educator and I want to empower you to be more in control of your money and build the financial future that you want. I run the Greenhouse Money Growing Program and you can find details of that in the podcast show notes. My name is Jessica Brady. It's time to get financially fierce.
Okay, so today we are going to do a bit of a reflective episode. And if you are watching this on YouTube, because do you know now you can watch this on YouTube? Yes, they have started filming me, which means I need to blow dry my bloody hair in an attempt to look half decent for those of you that are watching me on YouTube and laughing along with me at my attempt at brush hair. I'm in a new studio. This is the first time, if you're watching from YouTube, you'll be able to tell that I'm coming to you from this brand spanking, very exciting, very suave and fancy looking new studio. But today we're doing a reflection piece. And I just want to pause and also acknowledge that for some of you, you may not have had the year that you thought you were going to have. And don't worry, I'm going to talk about my year that was 2025, because whilst it may look like everything is shiny and sparkly and perfect, like my new studio, beneath the surface, not everything is always that way. And I want to be raw and vulnerable about sort of some of the highlights and lowlights of my year as well, because my friends, we are all on this journey together. So maybe, even though we are always our biggest critics, maybe upon reflection, you finally faced your superannuation this year. And I don't know, maybe moved it to something that was higher growth or less fees, or dare I say more ethical or aligned with what's important to you. Maybe you ditched some debt this year. Or maybe you actually ditched some of those thought patterns and limiting beliefs that have held you back for a really long time. Even if you feel like you're not at perfect yet, if you have made progress on ditching the shame and guilt with money, that, my friend, needs to be celebrated. Maybe you asked for a pay rise. Even if you didn't get it, just asking for a pay rise in and of itself is a big deal. And of course, if you got a pay rise this year, I'm very excited for you. Maybe you hit a savings goal. I don't care if it was big or small or somewhere in between. If you hit a savings goal this year, pause and celebrate the bejesus out of that. Maybe you had a money aha moment. Maybe you were faced with an oh shit moment with your money and you survived it, despite having moments where you thought, Jesus, is this gonna bring me down? And maybe, just maybe, you started on your investment journey. No matter what kind of year you've had, I want you to look for, actively search for moments in 2025 with your money that you're proud of. And sure, there will be lessons. There will be things that you didn't do perfectly. There will be things that upon reflection, you might do differently if you had your time again. Fine. But what can you celebrate? Because as we are thinking further afield to the year that is coming up, we are constantly thinking about who we want to be and where we are going and what that route or road looks like. But sometimes, especially at this time of year, it is okay to pause and look in the rearview mirror and just look at how far you have come on that windy, maybe dirty track that was murky and foggy and, much more treacherous perhaps than you had expected. We are really bad at celebrating progress. And with our money, our brains literally need to feed off the progress. And so this, my friends, is your time to be the biggest cheerleader you have ever been to yourself. And if you are not driving, if you are watching this on YouTube, I would strongly encourage you, go and grab a piece of paper, write it in the notes section of your phone, find somewhere that you can just sit for a moment, a minute. You've got a minute. I know you do. And just write down one thing, one tiny, seemingly inconsequential thing that you are proud of when it comes to your money in 2025. And hopefully what you will find after you write that one tiny little thing is that you start remembering, oh, actually, and I also did this. And there was this thing that happened as well. And actually, I didn't buy Smash Davo every weekend. Thank you, Mr. Salt. So now I can afford all the homes. Jokes, if only. But in all seriousness, it might be that you stopped eating out as much as you were. It might be that you reprioritized how you were spending your money. It might be that you started putting some extra into super. You were able to pay, for a holiday without putting it on your credit card. Whatever it is, celebrate that. And you will probably find as you start to write them down that you can start snowballing them, because there are probably a lot more wins than you can initially remember on the surface. So let me tell you about my year. I am not going to tell you about the whole entirety of my year, because my friends, that in itself would be an episode which I don't think anyone would want to sit and listen to. But I want to tell you about a couple of big things. So I have been working on something in 2025, which I don't think I can actually tell you about just yet based on when this is being released, which is so mean. Imagine trying to talk about a win that I can't actually talk about. But it has been, I think personally for me, one of the biggest challenges, one of the hardest things that I have done in my career. I was going to say life, maybe also life. And I found it really hard and had many moments where I was like, I don't think I can do this. This feels really awful. I cried more times probably than I can count. But isn't it funny how with some time and some distance, you can look back and go, wow, I'm really proud of that. Whereas in the heat of the moment, you're like, this is awful. What am I doing? I'm very proud of myself actually for that, and for saying yes to something that genuinely scared me, and really not thinking that there was a way that I could do it. And I realize I'm being so cagey and I'm so sorry. All will be revealed soon and it will make complete sense. But being genuinely sure that I was not capable of doing something, which I realize and recognize is like deeply ironic, given that that's what I tell you to overcome when it comes to money. But like this shows up in so many areas of our life. And to know that I was terrified and was sure like I didn't have the capacity, the skills, the ability to do something, and then to sit on the other side knowing that I've done it, and to look back and go, wow, we are capable of far more than we give ourselves credit for. And it's okay to feel shit in that middle messy bit. But when you come out the other side, you can look back and go, I'm really glad I did that. I'm actually really proud of myself. So that was a really big personal, professional thing for me. I would say it was like a win and a massive challenge if I look at how it impacted my 2025 for a whole variety of different reasons. I am also aware that I've spoken about this on the podcast, but like I had a pretty challenging year in terms of not achieving some of my business goals and my personal goals because some things came out of left field. And so again, I said at the top of the episode, it is okay if 2025 didn't land exactly as you had planned. I am, my friend, right there with you. And as someone who loves achieving goals and who sets pretty tough goals to begin with and stretch goals, and I like work pretty tenaciously to achieve my goals, to have to sit with the really uncomfortable reality that I was not going to achieve a goal like quite early in 2025, realizing shit, my year is like completely veered off course and we aren't even into Q2 yet. That was hard. And I beat myself up about it and told myself that it was my fault, when actually, if I was an outsider looking in at what was going on, I think it would have been very different for me, because I would have gone, well, hang on, this isn't fair to beat yourself up about, because this was completely unexpected and this was totally left field, and like you didn't have control over X, Y, and Z. And so why I'm telling you this, not only as a reminder to myself, but I think it is important that as we set goals, not only are we realistic, which I need to be better at, but we give ourselves grace when life takes us off course especially when they take us off course when we know that we didn't have a hand in that. So in March of this year, I went in for some day surgery, allegedly day surgery, some investigative surgery is probably the right way to put it. And they did investigate and they found, and I ended up with a diagnosis of stage 4 endometriosis, which had like kind of gone all throughout my body, which I was not prepared for, even though that's what I was in to get checked. And something called, I can never say it properly, adenomyosis, I don't know how you say that. And basically a grapefruit sized growth that was inside of me, which no one picked up before the operation, that was impacting some of my organs. And so what followed from March was like 10 weeks of hell, actually, and in and out of hospital multiple times because there was some really serious complications and obstructions and things that were going on. And I was really upset at myself. But I was not able to work. I wasn't feeling great, as I'm sure you can imagine. And so, you know, sometimes in life things just happen. And like me, who is just like, I can soldier on, needed to realize I actually can't soldier on. And I felt frustrated at that process. And it cost me so much money. It cost me so much money. Just as like an aside, I know that this is meant to be goals of 2025, but I just want to sit with the fact that sometimes your goals need to be reimagined, a la my 2025. I think I paid like $9,000 out of pocket for this surgery in March, let alone the impact to revenue for my business. And also I had to have some additional like urgent tests, CT scans, et cetera, privately when there was some complications a few months later, because the surgeon needed to know that day what was going on. They cost me like $1,500 and I couldn't get any money back. So that was a big challenge for me that like really, I would say, definitely knocked me off course. But then I look at my 2025 and I'm like, wow, I have achieved some really big things from a business perspective. As I said, this big project that I am going to tell you more about soon, and I can't wait to share more with you. You know, I had some family stuff happen, and despite all of that and the cost and, you know, all the medical stuff, I'm still here. We've survived. I've survived, and I've come out with a much stronger sense of just how much grit I have in me, just how important it is to surround yourself with people in your life that are going to literally, and when I say this, I mean this, like literally drop everything at a moment's notice and be with you when you need it. And like, I don't know, I feel like in these times, there are many people who cannot say that they have people who would drop everything. And I this year have tested that. And it turns out that yes, I have a lot of people who will drop a lot of things to be with me in those moments. And I feel enormously grateful. Like that is goals. Because like money is important. But like being able to have people in your life to share those moments with, I think is worth a lot. A lot. So yeah, this year has definitely taught me a lot about radical acceptance and just being kind to everyone, because you just never know what the hell is going on behind, you know, that facade. And to be so grateful for all of the things that I have, including my friendships. And that painfully annoying reminder that I was taught in 2024 came back to haunt me again in 2025. And I just want to tell the universe and you all that I've learnt my lesson and I don't need to learn it again in 2026. And that is that health is wealth. Health is wealth. Okay, that is enough of a trauma dump for my 2025. After the break, I am going to share with you the amazing achievements that some of you in this community have shared with me of what was your proudest money moment of 2025, so that we can celebrate the bejesus out of them, but also get you pumped and excited for the year that's coming up to help you think about what goals you want to set for yourself for the future.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. If you would like help based on your own personal situation, head over to moneypodcast.com.au, click Get Help, and we'd be happy to introduce you to one of our trusted professionals. Our panel of vetted financial advisors and mortgage brokers work with people all over Australia so they can connect with you wherever you are. That's moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help.
Okay, so I asked you, some of you, to share your proudest money moment with me of 2025. And like some of these blew me away. Sure, some of them seem small, some of them are really big. But I think that that is the point, that we should be celebrating the entire spectrum of money things. So I'm going to need my laptop for this because I don't want to muck up people's money stories. Here are some of them. Okay, the first one, I'm really proud of these people. My wife and I bought a house after looking for more than a year before selling our first house, and we managed to sell that house for $85,000 more than we were expecting, which allowed us to do some renos in our new place, which we didn't think we could do, and that was amazing for us and a massive win. There is risk in that and buying a property before you've sold your last one, but it looks like it panned out for them, and they got to reno their place as well. Imagine thinking that you're just going to have enough money to afford the new place that you've just bought, and then realize, oh my God, we actually can do some stuff here that we didn't think we could do. Very, very exciting. I'm so excited to have the 20% discount added to my HEX. I know I didn't do it, but it feels so good to get that down. Yes. Yes. So much yes. I know that there's been so much relief from people when they've logged in to check, which has just gone through. And like, who cares whether you did it or didn't do it? To see that number go down and know that you were closer to being HEX debt free would feel damn fine. Setting up a new business and surviving. I love that and feel that deep in me. Going on a family holiday to Italy. We weren't sure if we could afford it, but we made some massive sacrifices and it was totally worth it. Had my miracle IVF baby. Oh, these make me want to cry. I'm so proud of you all. Okay, this has been one of the worst years. Oh dear, I'm right there with you. And I'm so glad it's nearly over, but I'm still here and I really feel like that's a win, to be honest. I agree. Oh, that makes me so sad. And I agree, and you are still here and you have survived 100% of your worst days, my friend. And that is a win that you are here and you are probably, like me, feeling stronger, some days more capable. And I feel like a lot of people have just had an awful year. I've been talking to a lot of people and like, tell me what you think. Can we all just like bitch together? Jess Brady _ financial advice. I feel like the more people I've spoken to this year, the majority of people have said this year's been one of the hardest for them. I did threaten to start a coven. And to be honest, at this point, I think I need a wait list because everyone who I've sort of jokingly suggested it to has been like, yeah, I'm in. I'm so in. Anyway, in my next business, I run a coven. Another win. Was able to leave a shitty situation that was causing me a lot of stress. I wouldn't say I feel like I am fully recovered, but I'm really glad I left. God, that is something to be so immensely proud of. Well done you. I'm really proud of you. That can be really hard and take a really long time to leave. And yeah, that definitely needs to be celebrated. I paid off $15,000 in credit card debt this year. I had the debt for years and moved it from one low interest offer to another thinking it wasn't a big deal, but it's so much better now it's gone. Holy shit, that's amazing. That's a lot of money to pay off on a credit card. You'd feel so much lighter and freer, my friend. I finally started investing this year after years of telling myself I would soon. The markets went down basically straight after I put the money in, but listening to you, I didn't panic. I probably would if I hadn't. I still don't feel super confident, but I'm proud I'm doing something about my future. Yes. And the last one that I've got is re-entering the market as soon as I sold my property. My friend said to wait and focus on my new business first. If I had listened to everyone, I would not be able to buy the place that I'm living in now because the market has gone up by 6 figures in the last 4 months. Whoa. There are people out there taking some pretty big swings and some pretty big risks. I was going to say ballsy. I just don't like that as a word because of the patriarchal bullshit connotation. I'm in a ranty mood. You can understand why if you've listened to this episode so far. But like, I think we need, beyond my coven, we need to have cards that are not just like, you had a birthday or you had an anniversary or got married or got engaged or had a baby or with sympathy. We need like cards that are like, bitch, you survived. You're still here. Or your business turned 1, or your business got another year older, or like you did the really hard, scary bullshit fuck off thing and it may not have worked out, but you did it. You tried. I don't know. I feel like the Hallmark needs to like create that as an entire collection. You invested for the first time. You got out of credit card debt. You bought a house. Okay, maybe they do have the house ones. Because I feel like there are such few things that we really celebrate, and we don't celebrate trying enough and frankly failing enough, because I don't know about you, I have learned the hardest, biggest, dare I say bestest lessons when things didn't go quite to plan. That is when you find out what you're made of. That is when, I don't know, dare I say character is built. Doesn't feel good. Character building doesn't feel good, does it? But yeah, I feel like we need to celebrate people's capacity to try and to take risks and to be brave and courageous and, dare I say, fierce. So if you know someone in your life who this year did something that you know would have taken them out of their comfort zone, whether you think it would have been scary for you or not is not the point. If you know that they did something that for them was out of that comfort zone sort of area, that really kind of pushed them or challenged them or just was hard for them, now is the time to just send them a little message saying, hey, I saw that you did this. And I just want you to know that, like, from an outsider looking in, it probably was harder than it looked, but like you nailed it. Or like, I'm really proud of you. Or like, I just want to say that like you're inspiring. That thing looks scary and I don't know if I had it in me to do it. And I'm so proud of you for doing it or trying it. Maybe it didn't work out, but like you tried, and that's worth celebrating. We wait and we don't tell people. You know, I was talking to someone the other day about a funeral, and I was saying it's kind of crazy that we all leave the things that we loved about the person and the acknowledgements of like what we want to celebrate at about that person. We talk about it once they're gone, which like is nice as a remembrance bit, but like, how many people have said things at funerals that they desperately wish that they could have said to that person when they were still here? I don't know. I feel like now is the time of year, if any, to do that. You don't want to regret not telling the people in your life that you love, that you're proud of them. Right? Okay, to round out today's mini episode, which I don't think is so mini because I am me and we are here, a couple of reflections and things that I want to remind you of over this period. Progress is not linear. And it looks different for everyone. And look, my ass was kicked this year, and a very good friend of mine reminded me of this in terms of recovery, because I was starting what I thought to get better, and I was like, great, I'm back. And then I would have a day where I would like fall on my ass, and I was like, what the hell is going on? What is going on? What is going on? She said to me, Jess, recovery is not linear. And it was so helpful. And it was like definitely a bit late in the journey to hear it. But I think it's exactly the same with your goals. Progress is not linear. It's not. You're going to have twists and turns, my friends. We all do. And it doesn't need to look the same as the person next to you. It doesn't need to look the same in terms of what your progress is as the person who has exactly the same goal as you. Everyone's journey is different. And I feel like we spend so much time sort of with our peripheral sort of view instead of having our blinkers on and looking through our own lens and staying in our own lane. Taking the first small step is the hardest. This is my money saboteur, my financial saboteur, my money monster. She lives in me and stalls. That is who she is. And so I know for me that taking the first step is so hard, and I will do legitimately almost anything to avoid having to take that first step. And I get myself so overwhelmed at the idea of the first step that when I take the first step, it's so much easier because I've like absolutely catastrophized how hard the first step's going to be. And then I feel so silly when I take it and I'm like, why did I cause myself all of this anguish? It wasn't actually that hard. So if I can impart anything to you as, I was going to say recovering staller, as like a part-time staller, I would say I've mastered her in a lot of ways, but she definitely still lives within me. Just take that small step. Just take it, even if you don't feel ready for it. You're never going to. Take one small step, then take the next. I would also say to you and remind you that being empowered with money is not about numbers. Sure, it's about numbers, but actually it's emotional work. You can earn a lot of money. You can win the lottery. You can inherit millions of dollars and find yourself back where you are right now, if not in a worse position, only a few years later. And that in itself tells us that money is not as simplistic as numbers on a spreadsheet, numbers in your banking app, numbers in your investment portfolio, numbers of what your house is worth. It is not that simple, because if it is, no one would make any money mistakes ever. Money is really emotional, and you have to be really clear with yourself that you are going on an emotional journey of unpacking and unpicking and uncoupling anything that you need to when it comes to your belief system about money to be able to make those numbers change on that spreadsheet. You got to be committed to doing the emotional work. And I know so many of you have made big emotional changes with your money in 2025. And I want to say a massive shout out to the people who have done my greenhouse program this year. I'm so fucking proud of all of you. I don't think I could ever explain how much joy I get from watching people over 10 weeks start terrified in a lot of instances, to ending only 2.5 months later, feeling wildly different with money. That is so beautiful and so rare to see such transformation so fast. So a huge shout out to everyone who's done my greenhouse program, but everyone who's done my greenhouse program this year. I want to say a massive, I won't say their names, but a couple of people come to mind when I think of people who have done the greenhouse this year. We had, and I've talked about this person before, but I just think it's so impressive. I had a lady who did my program earlier this year in her 60s, and she didn't earn a lot of money, and she told herself that she could never save because she didn't earn a lot. And throughout the program, she actually realized that she was spending on little treats that really added up, and she was able to save more in the 10 weeks than I think she had, for the years before. And it just shows you it's never too old. You are never too old to change. Also to the amazing person who worked out through our life spend calculator that she was spending about 4 months of the year working to buy crap that wasn't valuable for her life and was derailing her goals. To make the emotional connection for that and make a change, but also to be vulnerable enough to share that is super impressive. I had a gentleman who did the program this year who was pretty quiet actually inside the greenhouse. And that's okay. Some people really want to share all their stories. Some people want to quietly do their work and transform without sharing all of their insights. But he and I spoke a couple of weeks ago, and he shared more about sort of what he's been able to do since doing the greenhouse, and it blew my mind. So if you are listening, you know who you are. I am really proud of you. I'm really excited for what's coming next for you. And thank you for trusting me. And you've made some big life changes, which I know have been really scary. I also had a person who did my last intake of the greenhouse who, again, told herself that she couldn't save, and she was able to save and put herself on a personal challenge. And actually, maybe rather than telling you the numbers, because I don't actually think that's important, she set herself a challenge and for a month to not do something. And she mucked up once. But instead, she said to me, Jess, the old me would have gone, you know what? I fucked it. I'm just giving up on that 1 month challenge. Instead, she was like, you know what? I made a mistake. I'm getting back on the horse. Again, that is the behavioral change that we need to recognize. And yes, the outcome of that meant that she saved a bucket load of money actually for her. And sure, that money can be celebrated, but I actually think it's the behavioral stuff that is far more important to celebrate. I also had someone who did my last intake who actually shared how much her career has taken off in the last decade, and how earning more money has really enabled her to start using that money to put towards her investments or to start investing. And I think what is so beautiful about that is she is now in her 60s, earning more money than she has ever in her life, and really inspiring. I have people that do my program from 20s all the way up to 60s. I haven't had anyone do it in their 70s. 60s is probably the limit. But just to explain, focus on earning good income, and then when you get that good income, use it to grow your money. I think being really vulnerable about where she was at 10 years ago and where she's at now, and how she's been able to use her career to leverage that income and start building assets and learning how to invest, I'm really proud of you. Again, you're not too old. You're not too old. You're never too old. There have been so many other stories, and I know that I'm going to go home and kick myself for not calling them out. But again, I know through our greenhouse program, there's been so much transformation. I know that through my Evergreen Money Club, which is my monthly accountability, like we share wins every month, every single month. And if you're an Evergreen Money Club member, you will know when we do our Get Shit Done sessions every month, people are doing amazing things with their money. So to round out 2025, I want you to think about something that is worth celebrating. Find something. And if you're in a partnership, not only celebrating for you and what you have done, but sit with your partner and figure out like, hey, what did we do well this year? Don't think about all the things yet that you could have done differently. Simply focus on what can we pause and celebrate? What are we proud of as we wrap up 2025? And of course, thinking about what could you do in 2026 to support yourself for even greater success? I would love to hear what your 2025 financial win was. DM me, Jess Brady _financial advice, or pop it in the Money community Facebook group. As we wrap up the year, I also just need to say a huge thank you. As you can probably sense, and you've probably noticed in some of my eps, I've been a bit grumpy. This year has been a lot. And so thank you for being here. So many of you have told me that you've rated, you've reviewed, you've shared the podcast with your friends, family members, colleagues, all the peeps. I am enormously grateful. I'm genuinely so thankful for you being here, letting me, invade your ears for what seems to be 40 minutes every week. I'm trying to get them down, but maybe that's a goal for 2026. Nah, I keep trying and failing at that one. Thank you for the team for letting me have the podcast, Glenn and the team at Money. I'm hugely grateful. And to you who listens, thank you. Thank you for sharing it with everyone in your life that you think it would help. I have big plans for 2026. I hope you do too, and I can't wait to share more with you soon. You now know what to do. Go. Go, my friends, and be financially fierce. Bye.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia. We pay our respects to elders past and present. Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Jessica Brady is an authorised representative of Paragem Pty Ltd, authorised representative number 1259972, AFSL 297276, ABN 16108571875, corporate authorised representative number 1305567.